All right, sorry it took me so long, Level Up RN. You did a fantastic job explaining that video. Forget the haters, don't worry about that. They kind of know what they're talking about, but they also don't. For those complaining about the angle of insertion, when was the last time you measured your own insertion angle? All you complain about 30%, 40%, 45%, 20%, 15%. When was the last time you actually measured your insertion angle? When was the last time you actually had a protractor to prove the angle of insertion that you were actually doing? We're all guessing. And we're all taking the number that she was using and crucifying her because it's not the right number. I will insert at a 80-degree angle because the veins are so deep. Not my favorite insertion, but sometimes it needs to be done. Very difficult to handle. However, it can still be done. So it's all about technique. So let's talk about what the real problem is. People complain about that high angle of insertion because yes, it is a higher likelihood and risk of perforating through and through. However, the key point that everybody missed in that video was once you get flashback, then you shallow out. That needle bevel, from the tip of the needle to the opening of the bevel, can still obtain blood return or aspiration from the venous pressure just with a little bit, even half of that bevel. So no matter what angle you're in, if you're getting flashback with a lot of blood return, then yes, go ahead and shallow out your angle. Then, however, the risk is if they're venous depleted or their veins are too small in the first place. We shouldn't have even put in that catheter size because it's too big for that catheter or for that vein. Yeah, you'll poke through and through. However, let's say it was the right appropriate catheter to vein ratio size, 35% or less. You're going to get some of that bevel in. You're going to get flashback. You're not going to poke through and through with that flashback. However, how fast are you trying to get that flashback? So if you're putting it in real fast, darting it in like they told you to, then you don't know how much you went in. And so you must go slow at whatever angle to make sure that that blood return has enough time at the point of entry with that bevel inside of that lumen. Okay, so once we get flashback, that's when we drop our angle so that we can more gently glide the catheter into the vein. But all this comment and trolling on her video about this angle number and that angle number, if you have not ever used a protractor to measure your own angle of insertion, like I did, get out of here. You have no idea what 45 looks like. You have no idea what 30, 15, 10 looks like. You're taking guesses. Oh, 45 is half of 90, so it's something like that. So then what's 30? You keep screaming on her comments, 30 degrees.